Hey everyone, Logansryche here. Welcome back to another episode of Aternos Minecraft. Alright, so today I get to hopefully attempt to slope this from here all the way down, all the way up to here. This is where the parking lot ends. Well, no, actually the parking lot ends over here. Why? Apparently, I didn't extend this part of the parking lot out. Okay, so let's go dump what I have in my chest, and we'll go back at it. Alright, so what's everybody up to today? I mean, besides watching me doing what I do. Alright, so if you recall from the last video, I had actually shared a couple, gaming stories, and what I had, what my thoughts on, returning to console gaming and stuff, and I actually heard, from a couple people personally, and they're like, yeah, they had agreed that that they were like me, that they had started off with either Half-Life Deathmatch or or earlier COD games, and while Call of Duty, Call of Duty Ghost wasn't perfect, it really wasn't bad either. And so that was actually really neat. They had actually contacted me personally. They didn't leave any comments or anything. And that's actually what the type of messages that I enjoy more are the personal comments and questions and stuff. Because I've noticed that this seems to be more of a a YouTuber thing, I think. Is that I've contacted several YouTubers in the past over over stuff, either with a comment or a question, and while they don't respond back to me directly, they'll respond in their video. Oh, excuse me. Like one time I had asked a question of Mr. Crayfish, and instead of answering me back directly, he had made his next video about what I had what I was trying to do, which was seeing, see at the time, if there was the possibility of, instead of having a never-ending water source, of having a never-ending lava source, which obviously doesn't compute right. 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll space it at 10, see what happens. come up short. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh wow. Oh, look at that. Wow. Okay. Except for the fact that that needs to be like that. Um, but yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I already had 5 dug out. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, you know what? I'll space these out 5. Except for here. Yeah, I know. I know what I'm doing. Specific effect I'm trying to go for. Two, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, I'll have to see how that looks after I get that taken care of. Now, something else that someone had asked of me is how big I'm planning on making this city. Well, to be honest, I don't really know. Because originally I had wanted to just do the town that I live in. But then I was like, well, the town I live in is actually kind of small. So then I'll just do, you know, the town I live in plus the surrounding towns. And I was like, well, it'd be really neat if I could do, if I could eventually do the entire state of New York in Minecraft. In which case has now prompted a never-ending project, I guess, if you will. So yeah. So that I guess became the new focus of the project, I guess, which was to attempt to not only build my hometown, but to build the entire state of New York, which some might say is unfeasible. However, I have lots of time. I'm not going anywhere. And while I probably would be inclined to share all the steps, what I'm doing, I really don't want to bore anyone. If you hasn't haven't bored anyone already. So I've been really reluctant, to want to continue past the ending of um, season 2, of Return to Minecraft. Because I don't want this to turn into a project that in the end nobody pays attention to. And I mean, as great as the Aternos community is, I think they're starting to get rather bored with my postings. So I've been trying to, which is another reason why I think season 2 will be the end of at least recording. Not so much doing, but just recording. So that's I guess that's what's prompted that. And I mean I can't fully focus on just one thing. I have to be doing multiple things. That's just the way how my mind works. So I'll be, which is why at one point I had more than one playthrough series going, because my mind needs to needs to stay active and and do stuff, which it's made a lot of people look at me like I'm crazy, like I purposely take on too much stuff. But again, it's how my mind works. It's also why I can't just be sitting around or or doing nothing. Because my mind always has to be doing something. And when I actually talked to my primary about this, and they're like, well, there's the possibility that you have what is known as genius syndrome. And I had to ask them to clarify that. And they're like, well, apparently it's very rare for anyone's mind to need to be that active, that constantly active, and that those that are using that much of their of their brain, even subconsciously, is on the level of genius. Now, granted, I'm not like mathematical genius, but I guess I'm a genius in my own right. So that's where that stands. Honestly, I think I was being told what I wanted to hear, but you know, I haven't met too many doctors that are willing to tell to tell me what I've wanted to hear. And if they really wanted me to tell me what I wanted to hear, then I think I'd be more off than what I am. But whatever. So then when I went to go research this, apparently it's not just here in New York. Apparently, they actually came up with a scientific classification for this, and it's for those that use more than 10% of their brain, or half of their brain, or whatever, that have a genius like thing that their minds always has to stay constantly busy, or they get fidgety or frustrated or irritated. Because I know for the longest time, such classifications didn't exist. And then it seems like all of a sudden, out of the blue, they're like, "Oh yeah, you must have this." You know, then to which some of us are like, "Huh?" you know, are you crazy? But no, apparently it's common a lot among YouTubers and live streamers, which I found even more interesting. So in a way, I'm a genius in my own right. And trying really hard not to let that go to my head. Because to me that's not genius thinking. That's just, well, to me that's just normal thinking. And then not that long ago, another study was done that proved normality is a state of mind, and not an actual thing. So yeah, I'll let you guys do with that with what you will. I think I've spoken about that a couple times before. I don't fully remember, because that's actually something that I have major issues with, is remembering stuff. And I mean, like, as an example, here I am, somewhat alone, for the weekend, while my wife is visiting friends. But at the exact same time, this weekend feels like a blur. I mean, I don't this past weekend. I don't really feel, like like I remember, much, if anything. But apparently I went through my 4-pack of Monster and had 2 pizzas with my brother-in-law. So yeah. Why I'm talking about that almost a week later, I don't know. Something to talk about, I guess. But yeah. So that's that, I guess. That might actually look good for once. Except for right here, obviously this will be concreted because of the bridge, but yeah, this is gonna look nice when it's done. And that's actually something else I've been trying to keep in focus. Is I've been trying to keep the scale of things in focus, trying to keep things to Minecraft scale. Because obviously, one glass block is, a single window. But it's kind of, it's hard to, it's difficult to, to do that. Some, try to keep the scale of things. Okay. Hey, maybe for once today I'll actually be able to end the video on time. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? I know the past couple of videos have been over 30 minutes. I've been trying to, and this actually comes down to audience retention, and that is for videos like this. When you're doing video playthroughs, audience retention is that viewers will watch if they obviously find it interesting, but they don't. But most will not hang around to watch if the videos are over a certain length, which is why majority of the Nintendo videos that I've seen are generally no longer than 15 minutes, just because that's where audience retention is. And I can't do 15-minute videos. I mean, I struggle to do 30-minute videos. So, but at least with so at least with half-hour videos, it gives me something to something to work towards. And I say that because just a few minutes ago, I blinked and 20 minutes had passed, and I was like, okay, it's enough to share a story, and that was about it. you know, so but generally when it comes to gaming playthroughs, audience retention is anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes. 30 minutes is pushing it. It's pushing it, and most will not watch if it's an hour or over. Because I used to in the early, when I first started experimenting around with video playthroughs and stuff like that, a lot of my videos were over an hour, somewhere approaching the 2-hour mark, and I was like, well, and and nobody, uh, nobody paid any attention to them, and I find that somewhat with my Minecraft videos, but it's hit and miss. So, but let's see, get through over here. Awesome. But yeah. So I think which and that was even something that I found when I used to make video montages, was that folks would rather watch a shorter montage than watching a montage using a full-length song. So if you're, which is interesting, because certain songs are only like 2 or 3 minutes, and audience retention on a montage is only about a minute, which if you can cram a lot of what you want into a 1-minute montage and make it look good, then you're ahead of the ball game. So I mean, it's it's just how YouTube audio retention is. And I mean even in today's YouTube, with all of its issues and the never-ending policy, audience retention is still roughly about the same. I can sometimes get away with using a 2-minute video or a 2-minute montage, but it's like really rare. And all of these videos have always been half hour, just again because of audience retention. So yeah. Because I try to take my channel serious, but not like OMG serious, which is why I removed the my video intro, and why I removed the outro that talked about donating to me on Patreon, because I already say this stuff in you know, my video description and on my channel's banner and stuff like that, and you know, and I don't want to overdo it, as I say. And if I do, I do apologize. That's never my intention. My intention has always been to do what I enjoy doing and to share it with others, and that if at any point others become interested, then you know, then maybe maybe they'll help help me achieve some goals I couldn't achieve on my on my own, which is the whole point of Patreon to begin with. Which is why a lot of musicians will use Patreon. It'll help them to either get a new instrument, or a new amp or a guitar, or help to put out a demo or whatever. And to those that that do use Patreon and it works for them, that's great. I'm glad that that stuff works out for them. You know what I just remembered? I actually have to shorten this up more, because over here needs to be a on-ramp and a off-ramp. Oh my gosh! I just thought of that. Well, you know what? I'll have to save it for the next video. I will see everybody then. Take care.